Mandalorians are not just learning about how to fight. You also have to know how to navigate the galaxy.
Man, the whole thing need to be that. You need to do that for a whole minute, 53 seconds, and I'd be like, yes. What up, fellas? How y'all doing? There's another edition of the Mandalorian Roundtable. I am the host. HNIC, I guess, so to speak. I guess. Some of us may know what that means, some of us may not. Damn, y'all ain't got a lot of energy going on, man. Everybody, look at. Shifty ain't saying nothing. I also ain't saying nothing.
Oh, I had people
on mute. What's up? I was on mute. I'm sorry.
I was trying to get people out of the room. So,
yeah, I can't tweet out because I got suspended. So people are gonna
talking smack. Talking smack.
Pretty much.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Can't
doing
complain.
Pretty good.
How you doing?
Doing good.
I can't complain, man. It's been a long day at work. I'm battling a headache. I'm gonna go ahead and power through it. Get this done. So,
yes, sir.
This is episode 2, season 3 of The Mandalorian. I thought it was very good, but I don't think there are 2 people on here that don't think it's good. I think Ninja, I think it was pretty good, but
yeah,
you got 2.
Well, we already know Nindroid loves everything Star Wars, right?
I don't know, because I don't think he's a fan of the Bad Batch.
No.
Yeah, not a big fan of the Bad Batch. I agree.
But we're going to go around like we always do. And the first round is our overall thoughts of the show. And I'll go ahead and start it off. I'm not going to say this is the best episode I've ever seen because that still remains to be last year with Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker moment. But I am very intrigued about what I'm seeing. I really was kind of meh on Bo-Katan, but her stock has risen tremendously. In my eyes, with this this episode, she looks like she could actually lead. I thought maybe she was just more trying to be a badass, but she actually has what it takes to lead Mandalorian. And I think after seeing that, whatever you call that, big ass dragon down under the water, I think that's going to try and stoke her fire. Because I think she kind of had lost faith from what I could gather. I tell Mandalorian just leave me alone. I'm going to go out here and just wallow in my self-pity. But I think she's going to pull herself up. And I really enjoyed it because it gave me a lot of the Mandalorian lore. Some I knew, some I didn't know. Just kind of diving into that. And I think that's pretty cool. But I definitely did not hate this episode at all. And overall, I really liked it. So we will go next to Shifty. What are your overall thoughts?
I had to rewatch the show because I thought it was super dark on my tablet and I couldn't make out a lot of what was going on. something that was also an issue for a reviewer at IGN who initially graded the episode a 5 out of 10 because of it. They later reviewed it and gave it a 7 out of 10. But those technical difficulties, they gave it a 5 out of 10. They got a lot of heat for it on Twitter. But I can understand where they were coming from because, I had issues myself. I finally managed to get the Disney app working on my PS4 and on a properly calibrated TV, and it was well lit and it looked amazing, especially when Grogu was leading Bo through the mines and those lizards were popping out of the tunnels and stuff. Looked so good. The first time though, I couldn't even make out the mythosaur at the end of the episode. Second time I watched it, I was like, "Holy crap! What the crap was that?" So that was a big surprise for me on the second viewing. Now, while I liked it much better on the second viewing, where I could see everything, the writing early on bugged the hell out of me, and in retrospect, made me like the season premiere a little less, which I'll get into in my dislikes.
Cool. Ninjoid.
Okay.
What are your overall thoughts, sir?
Overall, I thought it was a solid enough episode. It wasn't, to me, great, like most Mandalorian episodes, but it was solid enough where I'm like, I'm okay with it right now. Let's see where it goes, That's my general thoughts.
All right. And last but not least is Mr. Anzo, Bigger for Entertainment. What are your overall thoughts?
Overall, it's not a horrible episode, but I think I'm like Shifty. I had a lot of issues with some of the writing where I was just like, what, really? What's this? And we'll get into that when I get into my negatives. But other than that, I mean, it's not horrible, but to me,
be very careful with the next thing you say.
You know what, Danny? It's trash. It's garbage. This is the worst. Worth it. Worst Star Wars ever. Disney should not
give
be.
me some new stuff because this right here is just wearing thin on me now. And I don't have the right one I need that I really would like to give you. So I'll give you a dose of this.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll send you the one I have later, Danny.
Boy, I'll tell you, I done played that thing about 50 times. I said, I want a T-shirt. I'm going to find that T-shirt. I don't know where I'm going to find it at, but I'm going to find that T-shirt. All right. What do we like about this? What do we like about this episode? Shifty, what do you like about it, sir?
I like that they addressed complaints we've had right off the bat in this episode with a super fast speeder race through the streets of Mos Eisley, making up for that chase in Book of Boba Fett. And then right after, we see an alien speaking in alien tongue to Homegirl in the mechanic shop. I complained about that last week. Everybody's speaking basic. What the crap? The evil robot, it reminded me of the evil robots in Netflix recent Lost in Space reboot. I thought that was kind of cool.
It sure did. I was trying to find out what it was, and you are absolutely right. That is it.
Which part?
Grogu.
That robot spider creature thing. It's one of Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grogu, cute as ever. The Mythosaur was just cool. I can't wait to see what they do with that. And between the pirate designs and the caveman, I wasn't too high on that head pirate dude that we saw the previous episode. But
he looks like bad animatronics.
Yeah, between him and the caveman, I'm actually getting Sid and Marty Krofft vibes. The people that made Land of the Lost and all those shows in the 70s. Their designs are kind of similar, I think. It might be that may be drawing inspiration from those shows for these.
You know, it look like you go to Disney World and sometimes they have the little thing that's talking, like the puppet or whatever, and it'll be talking and maybe move or whatever. That's what look like some shit they found on some old game or something, or some old ride or something. They say, oh, let's repurpose this, because I was not impressed with that head pirate. The rest of them look all right.
There's a rumor that head pirate is the main bad guy in Skeleton Crew. So
I'm hearing that too.
If not, that's gonna be another Doze Fest.
I agree.
That's all my likes.
All right, Alonzo, what's your likes?
Not much, to be honest with
God.
you.
Why
I mean,
am I inviting you to these shows when I know what you're gonna say?
I mean, what is there really to really like enjoy? I mean, okay, so first off, you put that mechanic lady in it, and right then and there, and I'll get that into my negatives too. But
She's
I
comic
guess
relief.
yeah, but she's horrible. I guess Bo-Katan is good. You know, Baby Yoda, Grogu is good. I like Grogu. You know, I think Grogu is what keeps me from watching the show. To be honest with you, other than that, man,
Keeps you watching the show or keep you from watching the show?
no, keeps me watching the show. I'm sorry, but other than that, man,
I tell you, I
You,
really
you
have more
know,
question
dislikes.
Star Wars fans when they say they hate Mandalorian. I really question it. I question
I don't
it.
hate it. I don't hate
you
it.
know,
Um,
you
I'll
know,
give it. Go ahead.
The Last of Us would have been so much better if it was Pedro Pascal and Grogu.
Maybe.
I ain't watched.
Yeah.
I ain't watched none of the Last of Us, so I don't even know anything about that.
I gotta watch the final episode tonight. It's pretty good, Danny. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good show.
You know, I ain't
Yeah.
really on that zombie
Yeah.
stuff, bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're,
but
they're, they're hardly.
it's good though. It's good.
Yeah, you got like 3 episodes with, and it's like not even like full zombie episodes. They just
Yeah.
come in one part and then done. You know, there's one big zombie fight that's wicked, but other than that, it's just the two of them running around.
Last night had a really good zombie scene in it too.
I gotta watch that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, again, like I said, Grogu, you know, Bo-Katan is great. I just think I need more. You know what I mean? I need to see more, something more from the series so far. Because these 2 episodes weren't bad, but they didn't impress me with anything.
Okay. Ninja, what are your likes, sir?
Bo-Katan, just like Anzo, honestly, Bo-Katan was great in the episode. Really liked her, kicking ass and all of that. I liked the Mythosaur at the end. Love the expansion of the lore of the Mandalorians and all of that. The visuals overall were pretty good as well. Seeing the remains of Mandalore was great as well. I liked everything with Din and Grogu as well. And yeah, that's really all my positives, to be fair.
Honestly, I'm glad. See how constructive that was and positive. Unlike the half glass half empty guys over there. Enjoy. So, good job.
Thanks.
I'm gonna agree with you on some of what you said. I like the lore of it. I really like that mechanical thing that caught him in that spider machine, and then we saw how it detached, and then was. I thought it was gonna eat him, but I was like, how the hell can a mechanical thing eat? But I don't know what he was gonna do, cannibalize him or something. And you could see that in the past, like he killed other Mandalorians and caught them and stuff, and did the same thing and just drained them of their blood. So I'm not sure what his end game was for it, so to speak. How he could digest. Maybe he still had some organic parts that he could digest or something. I don't know. But to me, it was very creepy looking, and I like that. I must say it wasn't Star Wars like, but it was creepy, and it really grabbed my attention. It was really cool to see the. I think y'all call it the Mythosaur. I don't know whether it's just a dragon or is it some kind of snake. What kind of body it's gonna have? I don't know what it is. I'm ready to see it all out live and well like that. I get as well. It's not dislike, but there's some little bit of issues I have with some of the stuff. Kind of didn't jive and make sense. One of my, I'll go ahead and start now. People were saying that, well, how did he get back to get Bo-Katan if he just learned how to fly? Now, what I saw was that he got back into the ship. He told the robot, and he pointed at the screen, "Hey, go there, go there."
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
that's
how he
what
did it. It ain't like he
Yeah.
went in there and programmed a nav computer to go back to. He said, "You point right there. That's the last place
Yeah.
you've been." So that's how that happened.
Yeah.
So it
No,
wasn't no kind of plot
Exactly.
device or
Yeah.
Paul Armor or some kind of Mary Sue.
Yep.
It was very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
problem was it was telegraphed right before the moment happened.
You know what? To be honest with you,
But what
That's
is it
not
like?
even. Go ahead, Danny.
I'm just saying, some people, in another stream I was on, it was like, well, how did Grogu learn how to fly? And Mandalorian was teaching him
One
this. And,
we
bro,
see,
if
yeah,
you go back and watch it, he clearly points and
yeah,
say,
Yes.
yeah. And astromechs always drive the ships of
yes.
Yeah.
So
others,
I
you
did. I
know.
did not
So
see something that was like, oh hell, there go plot device or there go plot armor or nothing. No, that made
Well,
sense to me.
yeah, it did, but well, I'll get into my dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
We go to this transition dislike, so that's gonna be the next one, and we can just kind of. I won't do one at a time. We just kind of go all. Everybody just jump in as long as you just respect what people are saying and making a point.
mhm.
So
Absolutely.
I know one of the dislikes Sanzo said was that when he got there, he told the robot to get out and test the air
Yeah,
over there instead of doing it right here. And then when he got out, he said, "I'll just seal my helmet or pressurize my helmet." I was like, "Nah, that is that is kind of stupid. I got to give you that."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or there should be some kind of sophisticated. For they can do that shit from outer space or in the orbit. Hey, test
Right.
because you on Star Trek, man. They test everything. Hey, what's the plant life? What's the vegetation? What's human life? Is it air breathable? I would assume Star Wars is still on par, technological wise, as Star Trek is. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a little.
Here's another one, Danny. You guys just brought it up, and I'm gonna say it now so I don't forget. But when Bo-Katan comes, he says, "How did you get here? How did you find
Yeah.
me, motherfucker? You sent fucking Grogu
Yeah,
to go
Well,
get her."
man, he's delirious
here's
now. If
yeah.
somebody took some blood from you, you might not be thinking clearly.
No,
I
seriously,
guess,
if you
but
lose blood,
that's true.
you're out of it. I have first-hand knowledge about that. My dad had a vitamin B deficiency where he wasn't his body wasn't making enough blood last year, and he got messed up bad. He couldn't, it messes your brain up bad. So yeah, that's pretty spot on right there. But I mean, I got some dislikes and I got notes, so I can't really translate them into a conversation. I just have to read them here, so
Go ahead.
bear with me. Super weak writing in this one with the whiplash telegraphing of Mando not only getting an astromech droid, but teaching Grogu about star charts right before they set up a Timmy fell in the well scenario, where the pilot was needed and someone to relay where he was at. I mean, that happened right before all that happened. This episode actually hurts the last in retrospect, as a lot of the steps taken to get where they are were more filler than setup. In retrospect, they should have ironed out the details of these first two episodes, cutting the fat from the premiere, and ending it on a cliffhanger where Mando gets captured and sends Grogu off to help by eliminating the IG-11 thread entirely, because that went nowhere, and just had Peli give him the astromech droid because he needed one eventually. Or, just have Bo tag along from the get-go, and that would have saved so much time. It's like all those steps with the droid wasn't needed. He could pressurize his helmet, and then they went off to get Bo when she said she didn't want to come to the planet. I mean, they could have saved so much time with this episode. It was just really bad, shaky writing.
I don't have a problem with them getting the actual droid and him teaching them, and then 2 or 3 scenes later, that knowledge you just taught them is needed. I don't have a problem. I mean, I've seen that in movies before.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have spaced it, or maybe if they would have done a episode or
in
two
the
Yeah, but
later.
first episode or two.
Cut it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but that combined with everything else, like the IG-11 plot thread, and then Bo saying, "No, I don't want to go," but then she ends up having to come and rescue him. It's just all it felt weird.
Well, I've seen it in movies
Yeah.
and TV shows before where you be like, man, I'm not going, I'm not doing this, and then shit hits the fan, and then that shows that okay, I do care about that particular character. Because right now she's kind of like despondent. She's a little bit of depressed and stuff. And we saw clearly when he came back, Grogu came back. She said, "I'm gonna get rid of him for once and for all." And she was going out there, I guess, to try to tell him or do whatever she's gonna do. And then when she saw he needed help, then that's when it kicked in. Okay, I'm gonna put my pettiness aside or whatever, my self pity aside. I'm gonna go and help. That's the way I
Yeah.
took it. I didn't take it like.
I just think it could have been constructed better. It's just. I wonder if they're going to even pick back up on the IG-1130. I guess they will because we see the shot of that droid cantina.
I agree with you on that. I think that's stupid. He doing all that for IG and then he don't really need them. So that's a little. I don't. Well, in this particular point in the story, he don't need them.
Yeah.
He need them later on down the show. I don't know.
Because that's probably going to be next episode. Because we do know that they're going to go back to Navarro. The Mandalorians are going to go there, apparently, if you see the footage. So.
Yeah. And then somebody was saying, well, why didn't she take the I was on somebody's stream while I was in the chat, and what people I don't know what they forgot about it, but you got to win. It's by death, the fight to the death. So that's why she's not challenging.
Oh
no,
that's another thing.
You got to beat him in combat,
right?
Not
but
what I read. That's not what I read.
Well, no, in the season 2 when she talks about it, he tries to give it to her. She says no, she has to fight him to get it. But I thought that she couldn't even use it if she didn't fight him for it. That's what I thought. I guess I was wrong, but I thought that was. I thought she had to fight him.
If you remember, Mando didn't kill Gideon to get it, so you don't have to kill somebody.
Right. No, I know you don't have to kill them, but I'm saying I thought she had to at least, fight him to even use it. Like I didn't even know she could just use it like that, but whatever. I mean, Star Wars, they always seem to say one thing and then do another thing later on. So
yeah, there's small retcons like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe I was wrong, but that's what I thought it was.
No,
because I thought she couldn't even touch it, but I guess I could be wrong.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, it's not like Thor's hammer. I guess.
No, I know.
No, I'm just saying, gotta be a smart ass, but
right.
I don't know why he's so off balance of it, and she is. I mean, I don't understand that. Cause seemed like one episode, you remember when he went last season, and I think he fight those dogs, those aliens look like dogs. He used it pretty good in there, but like he got worse the longer that he has it.
Right, because didn't he even train to be able to use it properly too, as well?
I know the armor was trying to train him last season, but
right, and they were telling him that he had to, be one with it. Yeah, right. Go ahead.
So, I think the answer there is kind of built into just a backstory that we've never really gotten. We know Bo-Katan has ruled over Mandalore. She's part of the family that used to belong to that family. She probably has it. Either it senses, because it did say that if you're one with it, if you don't fight it, if you let it do the work and stuff, that it'll do its job. She knows this. He has yet to really figure this out. She was raised like this, and that's in her lore. So I think that's why when she picked it up, it was no problem. What's just funny to me, and this is the weird part for me, is that she actually gave it back to him. Now, I guess you have to win it in battle, so maybe that's the thing. Maybe she's already resigned that it's his. But I was found that really surprising. She uses it and then gives it back to him.
Like we said earlier, she has to fight him to be able to keep it.
Okay. Yeah. Right. And I figured that's what that was built in.
It's because she had the Darksaber beforehand in Rebels, if you remember, and she was handed by Sabine. Sabine was like, "Oh yeah, take the saber," and all that. And what happened? Right. She, the destruction of Mandalore. So she cannot. She's like, nope. It needs to be through combat. I am not worthy of it unless if it's through combat.
DQ,
I have not gotten that far in Rebels yet.
Is Mando really a necessary character? To be honest.
Absolutely not.
The name of the show is Mandalorian. So what the hell?
Well, there's plenty of Mandalorians.
I think
no, Mando is necessary. Y'all asking for it, boy.
I think Mando.
I'm trying to be decent.
I think Mando is this season. He's going to unite all the Mandalorians together and he's going to lead them all by the end of the season, to be fair, with the Darksaber.
I actually think he's not going to lead them. I think maybe he's going to have a fight with Bo-Katan, let her win, and then she's going to rule Mandalore. I think he's going to help bring them together.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to
I
help
don't
bring them
see
together.
how Bo-Katan is going to rule that armor, but she ain't trying to take off that helmet.
Well, maybe Bo-Katan's going to train Din to use the Darksaber, because those, like all the years that she had it, all of that. I don't know.
Jason says this is the best Disney Plus has did last 2 years.
Nope.
It's better than Andor, yes.
Nope.
Yes, much better.
But I still don't think it's better than Obi-Wan, even though Obi-Wan has a lot of issues. I don't think it's better than that.
I think The Mandalorian's really good. I think Obi-Wan's really good. I think Andor's really good, but they're good for different things. If you're wanting story and like a plot that's long and drawn out, Andor's really good. I think Andor is a very I don't want to say something that makes people feel I'm calling them stupid or anything, but it's a thinking Star Wars. You really have to be invested in it. If you don't like it, it's not going to get to you.
If you are tired and can't get to sleep,
okay,
watch Andor for real.
That's what I'm talking about.
Down,
so,
Daddy.
I love Andor. But I love the Mandalorian, and I think Obi-Wan the same thing. But like Anzo said, there's lots of issues in all of these.
Yeah,
just maybe little things here and there. But I think it's because they're trying harder on those shows. It doesn't show as much.
But can we admit that none of them are better than the Book of Boba Fett?
I like the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But it's Mandalorian 2.0.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, you hate the Book of Boba Fett. I can't stand. What was the thing you didn't like? When they go back, when they had thoughts. Flashbacks. Oh my god. Flashbacks.
They were okay. I mean, it was the Power Rangers that was a problem.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Yoda said it best. If you are a Star Wars fan, you will watch it. Don't try just sit there and watch it. Except for Andor. You go to sleep on that.
No.
You go to sleep on that. Yeah. Okay, Chris, we did our what are your likes, overall thoughts, dislikes?
My overall thoughts is this was really good for progression within the storyline. I'm not sure exactly where along the group of Mandalore that are out there this is going to go, but I think it's going in a direction similar to what Nindra just said, where it's going to be going towards the unification of the Mandalore. I don't know who. I don't know if it's going to be Din. I don't know if it's going to be Bo-Katan. But I feel like that's the direction they're trying to take it. Likes, hey, listen, it's Mandalore. This we haven't seen a ton of this stuff. In live action, especially, we haven't seen it at all, and it's really cool to see this. It's cool to see these things shown to us, and this is what we talked about when Disney got this, and whether or not you like Disney or not. If they use these shows to expand the universe farther than George Lucas did, that's what we want, and we're getting that in this series. Maybe not in other series, but this series for sure. So I really like the expansion. I like the whole story. So they're talking about, you're seeing his viewpoint on what being a Mandalore means, and you see her viewpoint, which is skewed because I think she was brought up in a different way. So it's like Mennonites. There's Mennonites, there's Amish, there's many different versions of religion. That's kind of what it seems like here. She was raised with privilege and a lot of things, so she doesn't understand why he has to do this stuff. Yes, she's been taught this too, but kind of has been jaded towards it. So it's really good to see the two different sides of what she thinks, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll take you there. I know where it's at. Here you go. Here it is. This isn't going to do anything for you." I do like the cliffhanger aspect. I just hope that they pick right back up where that ended this past week. I like that. And I like that we're getting more of Grogu, not Baby Yoda, but Grogu, showing his force powers. And he's starting to become more interactive, so it's not so much like a baby. He's not getting carried around as much. He's performing a lot of duties himself. We're starting to see he's learning stuff, and I like that. It becomes a more useful character than just like a MacGuffin. He was a MacGuffin beforehand. Here's this thing, and we don't really know anything about that thing. Now we're getting to see him become something, or it becomes something, because I don't know if it's male or female, who knows, but whatever. So I like that aspect. Those are some of my likes. And then you guys already did dislikes?
We were getting into it. I know one was saying, Anzo was saying,
Oh, wait.
the main dislike was for him was that, okay, he wanted to get IG-14 because he needs somebody to go in there and be able to test the air and do all this kind of crazy stuff. Wasn't able to get the part to restore IG. Then he got the crazy mechanic. She gave him an astromech droid, and then the droid was able to do the same thing he needed. And then when the droid got lost, he just pressurized his helmet, and so I'm like, okay, that was kind of stupid. Could have pressurized his helmet from the first time.
But not only that, Danny. He tells the droid, right? They land on the plane. He tells the droid, "You got to go down there and check the air down there." Like the air down there was different than the air at the ship. I'm like, really?
Let me tell you something that's just right that stupid. I'm glad you said that, Anzo. I got this barber. I got 3 barbers, so I have a backup to my backup. One barber, he is hanging on with their life to this COVID, because you can't walk in there unless you got a mask on. Now, everybody sits in, you get a space apart. You got to wear your mask on. But when you go get your hair cut, you take your mask off. So I'm asking, like, is this barber chair got some kind of magical powers that COVID is not going to, if I'm in here, I'm going to be protected? Because not only don't have a mask on, I'm sitting right close to you if I am contaminated or have it. Why you cut my hair? So I'm like, bruh, why are you hanging on to this mask? And I mean, you can't even walk in. You can't set one foot in there without your mask on. And I'm like, bro, this is the most dumbest shit I've ever heard from. This kind of remind me of, like, okay, the oxygen right here at this ship is safe, but oxygen over there you got to go test. So yeah, that was pretty stupid in my opinion.
Well, I think, and this is my opinion on that, I understand where your problems are with it, because I remember hearing a little bit in the chat, or seeing a little bit in the chat about that being something Anzo had a problem with. And so when I watched it, I saw it, and I'm like, okay, I get your point. But he's under the impression that nothing has been there. Nobody knows exactly what's going to be there. So if something were to happen, if he were to go out, pressurize his helmet, and perhaps expose himself to that environment, even if he has a pressurized helmet, and then get hurt, get attacked, which he did get done, if that had changed that, he would still like to know, is it safe if something happens to my equipment? That's like a double check, but I mean,
no, I agree.
That's
I hear what
devil's
you're saying,
advocate.
Chris.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, Chris. But he didn't have to tell the droid to go down that path to check the air. He could have checked the air right there and then, because the air is not going to be different a block away.
Well, yes.
No.
More than likely, yes. You're right.
Okay.
There's a chance. What I'm saying is there could be air quality differences everywhere. LA isn't the same as Kansas City. Montreal isn't the same as Chicago.
I'll give you that, but he got so comfortable that he took off all his protective stuff to go bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah, like down the block.
But he already knew that. He already knew that it was safe by that time, or thought that things were safe.
He knew the air. He didn't know the water. He didn't test the water.
By that time, he's so. by that time he's just so dead set
Yeah,
that
he's
he's
so
there. I'm
fucking
here to
stupid.
do this.
Right.
That's
I'm not saying it was
that's
smart,
definitely one thing I
but-
test right there.
Right. Now,
I
if he had
see
said,
the issues.
if he had said, go check the fucking air in, this other area, like you said, like I'm in Montreal, I say, go check the air in New York. Okay, fine. Right. But the thing went down the block. It's just like a block away to check the air. I'm like, no, you didn't need to do that. You could have stayed right there. The air's not going to be different.
Go to the supermarket down there and test that area and come back, boy.
You know what I mean? Like, really? And when you come back, make sure you bring me a beer or something, Like, come on now. I just had an issue with that part.
I get it. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. It's just I can get past it. Yes, it's a little wonky there are several wonky things in this episode.
One of the people were saying in another chat, I can't think of it, how did he learn to fly and all this kind of stuff? I'm like, look, if you go back and watch it, Grogu didn't get in that cockpit and start punching in coordinates. He got in there and he looked at the navigational computer, at that robot and said, hey, and pointed at the thing, here, let's go here. That's what he did. That's not, that any of us can do that. We didn't get in the car and start punching coordinates or punching GPS addresses and stuff. He just get in there and point at the screen, hey, here, take me here. And that, I can believe that. But there were some people saying, well, how did he get back to get Bo-Katan and all this kind of stuff? And how did she understand what he was saying and all this kind of stuff? So I guess it's kind of like, I call it the Lassie effect. Lassie could run back 10 miles, look at Billy, and Hanzo's hurt. He fell down the well and...
I can defend that. How did Bo-Katan understand Grogu? If you remember that droid the droid that Bo-Katan had.
She tells the droid.
Yeah.
She tells the droid, download the astromech and find out where he came from.
Exactly.
So that's how he found her, that's how she found him. And then she didn't understand. She just asks him questions. And once they get there, he can understand her. But so she says, you have to lead me. And that's what he does.
Show me where he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, no.
But,
anything else we didn't like?
Me? Or are we just doing this as a group?
We're doing it as a group.
Okay.
I don't know, the mechanic thing, yeah, fine and dandy. I do find it funny that he was so dead set on the IG-11, and when he gets there, it takes a simple, not going to get that part. He's already been told this. He was already told this in the last episode that I don't think that he was told, I don't think this is fixable, and he was dead set on going that far to get the part. Why doesn't he say, hey, where can I find, a scrapyard where these things might be? Where can I go? Does he go to Coruscant then? I mean, now, granted, on the other end of that, it's like what Anzo said, that whole continuing side quest thing. If he didn't get it in this episode, what happens? We go to the next episode and he tries to get it again, and we keep going until he gets the part and then gets back. That could be the whole season. So I'm okay with them just going right past it. And giving him the astromech and just getting us on our way. That was okay. But it is funny that it... Yep.
Oh, yeah, that scene was actually a nod to A New Hope, where the same droid needs, like, I have no use for a protocol droid. Well, he had no use for a astromech droid, so I think that was a kind of a play on that scene. So,
well, it's also I totally believe that's the same astromech droid.
It is.
No, it is. They confirmed it. They confirmed it.
Yeah. So it's like that's a nod to Star Wars, the first one, in many ways. Yeah.
Yeah, that's R5. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with getting on with it. I find it funny that he goes this far and he's dead set on this. And this is a guy that carried the damn Grogu the whole first season, trying to get him someplace, and he gives up that easy on this. I mean, again, that goes back to that whole, the Bad Batch is the greatest mercenary group, whatever, and they keep failing missions. This guy is supposed to be hell or high water, I'm getting my bounty. I'm going to find you. I'm coming after you. I'll bring you in cold, or whatever he says. I can't remember right offhand, but that line, I'll bring you in. That's this guy, and he just goes there and says, "Oh, okay, fine, whatever."
Yeah,
and it's just like, okay, I'm okay with it in the sense that we got to move on past the 2 or 3 episodes to find the part, which could have happened. So maybe that's a learning thing that they learned. We don't need to get stuck on one thing. We're going to show, hey, we're just going to move on. Maybe. But that was just kind of like, okay, whatever. That's like the biggest thing I didn't like about this episode.
I did not like the cavemen, their design.
Oh, yeah.
And
neither did I.
the robot, the cyborg thing, I didn't like as well. It didn't feel like Star Wars for me. I don't know. No, the cyborg thing had things that remind me of Star Wars, but the overall design did not look Star Wars-y. Like, for example, Grievous, the eye was like Grievous, and also the wings were like the Geonosians from Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. But the overall concept and design... Also, why is that thing down there waiting under a Mandalorian helmet for so long? It's like... I'm like, why are you waiting here? Having a trap where it's like, how did you know, like, others were going to come? Why are you relying on others to come? Like,
what it reminded me of? Crystal Skull, where those guys are hanging out in the temple at the end. They're just hiding.
Yeah.
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it like a whole floor full of dead Mandalorians that thing caught?
Yeah.
So I'm almost certain that it probably don't need much food. What else it got to do down there but just wait for something?
But the question is, what is it? That's my main thing, And they could have designed it better.
Well, I wasn't too overly worried about it, but it didn't feel necessarily Star Wars like. But to your point, the creatures in the cave. Hello, the time machine from 19 whatever year it was. That they looked exactly like except these were green, those were white. But other than that, it's like that's the first thing I thought. I was like, can we do something a little different? Try to change it.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying last night. I was like, man, when George Lucas creates his creatures and stuff, they just look so much better. Like, I there are a few designs in the Disney stuff that I like, but overall, most of them are like, man, that doesn't look good. Like the pirates, I hate the pirates. I hate the way the pirate look. All of them. Every single one of them. I don't like the way they look at all.
I think that
I didn't mind the ones that Mando killed. I didn't mind those. They look like dogs to me. Some of them look like dogs.
There was one that looked like the dog from season 2, I think, when he went into like the butcher shop. Yeah. But that head one that was talking with the little Book of Boba Fett, right? And that little one with the little things hanging out of its head, I hated the way that looked. I said this is horrible design.
To your point, Anzo, if there's one thing you can say about the remasters that he did and the special editions he did, one of the reasons why he did that was because he was so underwhelmed by his own ability to do certain creatures in the first movies that he went back and he did it. And if there's one thing, his expansion of creatures and the amount of people in places, that right there is absolutely correct. And sometimes you just get a feel like it's, oh, look, they took Oscar the Grouch's head and popped it on top of whatever. Like I said, it looked more like the guy from Galaxy Quest than it did a Star Wars character. That's the first thing I saw when I saw that. It's like, really? So, they need to really focus. And, I mean, if nothing else, this is where if you're Filoni or Favreau, you reach out to George and say, hey, why don't you walk around the creature shop and talk with our guys and give them some ideas? Look at here, we're going to show you 30 creatures we've come up for the Mandalorian season 2. What do you think of this one? I mean, if he looks at it and says that looks like Oscar the Grouch, then that's a no. Those are the ways you get your thing. You don't have to you don't have to do anything. You just say, hey, we want to come around and show you. Because if anybody's seen the video of George Lucas walking around sets or walking around creature shops, it's very obvious when he likes something because he adds more input, or he's like, okay,
well, yeah,
what's next?
yeah,
And it's
and
like, you know what his opinion is of it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
even there's like when you watch the like one of the makings, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the making of the Phantom Menace, right? He just has a board with creatures. He just says yes, no, 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 yes. And then he's seen one and he said, okay, can you make the top of this like this, but make the bottom look like this one? You know what I mean? So he does that mix and match too as well. And I don't think that they're doing that over there at Lucasfilm. It's just like, oh, look at this. Okay, this creature, yeah, that looks okay.
Well,
let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, they used to do it, actually. If you watch the documentary of The Force Awakens, JJ did that. JJ actually was like, yes, I like that. That looks like Star Wars. Yes, I like that. That looks cool. That looks cool. You know, like he had, instead of a marker, it was sticky notes he put in.
Right.
But yeah, you know, same thing though. So
and that's fine. Like even with JJ, like if I go back and look at Force Awakens, I don't think there was really any creatures in there that I hated. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, like really, even throughout the whole sequels, besides the sea cow, I mean, like, all the creatures felt like
Look
Star
pretty
Wars.
good. Yeah,
you know?
I agree.
What I do is Disney still has a bunch of money to spend. I just go ahead and just buy the rest of the Jim Henson Company. I mean, they already own the Muppets. Just buy the rest of them and have Lucasfilm, work with them and, have them design some creatures and stuff. Because if you go back and look at Farscape, they had some really great alien and creature designs in that show. And George Lucas was a huge fan of that because after that show got canceled, he helped fund the miniseries that ended the show. So he's a big fan of Farscape and Henson's work. So,
and you see, like Chris said, to the degree, right? Like even though George Lucas don't own it or nothing, but if you go to him and say, "Listen, George," especially if it's Filoni, right, and say, "Listen, we're trying to get Star Wars back on track. We have a bunch of these creatures. What do you like? What do you not like? What should we use? This and that." You don't have to go with the story, right? Oh, George, this is a story. You could do that if you wanted to as well, but you may not have to do it because we know people don't think George Lucas is very great with his stories anyways. So I'd understand if you don't do that, but at least the music and the creatures, I think, is the one thing that they should go to him for, especially the music. Because some of this music in Star Wars does not feel like Star Wars music, man.
I think he's okay with story. It's just that he's not the best,
No, I think he's okay
director.
too, but there's a lot of people out there. Like
He's just
like if you talk to people about the prequels, they all say the story's crap, right? You know what I mean? So, and they say it's because George Lucas didn't have to answer to anybody.
It's just
I like
dialogue. It's just the dialogue for me, to be fair.
Yeah, the story's solid. It's just the execution of it. And like you said, he had yes men surrounding him.
Right.
Yeah, like
Rick McCullum.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah.
And boy, that clip at where they screen the Phantom Menace and Rick McCullum's just sitting there like, oh no.
I still remember the one clip when Steven Spielberg and him were just talking, and then George is like, "It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Yeah, it's gonna be great." Like both of them, they're just repeating themselves.
There's even one point where he's like, "Oh, I think I took it too far. I think I went too far." You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about the prequels that I think you can say is that he personally took too much on, and I think the plus side of what the original trilogy had was that he would go to people and say, "Hey, I want you to direct this," and don't worry about the special effects. I'll do that. That's why the original trilogy was so great. The prequels aren't bad. It's not like he fucked it up, but it still lacks a lot of the way it's directed, the performances. It's not nearly as good. the writing. Nobody looked at him and says, "Hey, listen." The cast in the original trilogy looked at him and said, yeah, no,
I'm
you
not
say
saying that.
this,
They rewrote
you
it.
say
yeah,
it,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
you say it, and then tell me that you can get it out properly on a
Yeah.
take. I mean, they
Yeah.
did stuff like that, and they trolled him hard about that stuff, and so I think that kept him humble enough that things, and then there was Alec Guinness there. You're talking about an Oscar-winning guy that he basically, the guy didn't even know what he was getting into, and so when he got there, he was like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
this isn't scripts that I'm gonna read from. It's like
Yeah.
that kept him humble. Then when he got to the prequels, it's like, oh, I get to do whatever I want. Green screen, and here, look, I got a great monologue about sand right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, George did.
Go ahead, MJ.
Okay. Well, George did try and get people to direct the prequels. For example,
Right, yeah.
Steven Spielberg
Spielberg
and
said
Ron
no, yeah.
Howard. Ron Howard as well, he tried. And they all denied. I think Steven even said to him, "Oh, well, no, I think you should direct them. Because they're your last few films. Like, they're your babies. You want them your way, then you do it." And he's like, "Okay, I'll just do it," So...
And I agree with you. I think that another director would have probably been like that sand line would have probably been, that doesn't work.
The dialogue,
You know what I mean?
the dialogue would have been better. The dialogue would have been a lot better,
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, gentlemen, we're approaching the hour mark, and Anzo's show will come on next for the next 6 minutes. We'll go ahead and transition to that. We will try and be back here next Monday, same time, hopefully, or
grades.
Huh? Yeah.
Grades.
Oh yeah,
Grades.
grades.
Go ahead and give you grades.
Just really quick.
I'm gonna give it a grade. Give this a B.
I'm gonna give it a C.
I'll give it a B plus.
All right.
C plus.
C plus. Enjoy.
A solid B.
Solid B. And there you have it. For those of you that are in the chat, please transition over with us to Anzo's show, The Khaos List, which is going to start here in the next few minutes. Still be on the same channel, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, without further ado, thank you. And until next time, where is the doggone get the hell up out of here? I don't see it. Where are you at? Damn. It's no longer with me, y'all. I lost it. Boom. There he is. Peace.
Peace.
Being a Mandalorian is not just learning about